Welcome to Do You Like Apples, your neighborhood podcast, where movies are the gateway and proximity is your value. Today, we have some thoughts on Spider Man Brand New Day from me, Billy Rock. But first, my co host Drew will join me for a joint Way Too Late review of the Odyssey, and then our Spider Man Actors Draft, where we draft our favorite movies from each of the Spidey actors and their love interests. Before we go into the show, check out the show notes where we created a movie watch schedule for busy adults called DYL Game. It is like a summer reading program at the library, but for movies. Create a profile, log what movies you have or haven't seen, and then compete with your friends throughout the month of August to see who can watch more movies. You get 0 points for not having seen the movie, a half point for having seen it, plus 1 point for a rewatch, 3 points for a first watch, and 5 points for seeing a movie in the theater. We have made it very clear what movies are streaming and what movies have the opportunity to be seen in theaters. Now, on to the show.
Do you like apples?
Yeah, we're finally getting to our thoughts on the podcast. We just for vacation and other various reasons, I've been itching to talk about this movie with you. I saw it twice. First time at Alamo, second time on IMAX. And yeah, I was bowled over both times. I mean, I think IMAX was an unforgettable experience, but I think you can't go wrong seeing this movie in any format. I think any screen is going to look great. For me right now, it's the movie of the year. I just said potentially movie of the decade. That's kind of high praise for a movie that came out 3 weeks ago. But
I would love to clip out every time we've said that about like an event movie like
yeah.
this, where like every Scorsese movie that like we've done with Killers of the Flower Moon, if that's an example. Trying to think of
we probably did for One Battle After Another.
One Battle After Another. Maybe
yeah.
not for something like Disclosure Day with Spielberg, but whenever there's a big director with something new and they hit, then yeah, you got to throw that phrase out there. But it does feel much more relevant for the Odyssey. I totally agree. What an event! Don't get too hung up if you're huge nerds like us, and I imagine you've seen it already. Two, if for whatever reason you've been holding back because you don't have an IMAX in your area, like even today, I was looking at times for the Odyssey during the day tomorrow, and 11 a.m. and 2:30 at Ronnie's, almost completely full. Like at the 2:30, there was like 2 seats off to the right on the aisle, and then the rest were the first 3 rows. And then at 10 a.m., I think it was, at 9 a.m., I think 10 a.m., it was like only the first 2 rows left. It's just so crazy, the staying power that it has. And last weekend with Spider-Man, the Odyssey combined, best box office weekend, at least according to AMC, ever. So obviously there's inflation, there's higher ticket prices, all that good stuff. But yes, what about the actual movie though? We'll save the bigger picture box office stuff for here in a second. But actual movie, you clearly loved it. What stood out besides spectacle? That's baked in. I wrote about that a little bit on the Friday newsletter with our written thoughts, inspired by Wesley Morris. I almost said Wesley Bell. That's our current incumbent's
little St. Louis politics.
Yes. Voting day, so that was important. But no, Wesley Morris on his podcast Cannonball with Sean Fennessy, he brought up a good point of spectacle versus your actual review. I knew the spectacle was going to be baked in and was really excited for that. So with spectacle in or out of the conversation, what are your actual thoughts on the Odyssey?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to separate because it is so baked into how Nolan conceived and executed the Odyssey, his adaptation of the Odyssey. But I would say what I loved so much was, and especially the second time and thinking more about after I watched it, was the choices he made in adapting Homer. I've never read the Odyssey, but I did listen to a podcast where they recap the Homer's The Odyssey. So I feel like I'm super knowledgeable on it. But
you listen to a podcast, not like an AI generated version of the Odyssey, right? Okay, good. Just making sure.
No. Oh, that sounds terrible.
Hey, chat, give me an equal length of the Odyssey in your version right now.
Yeah. Chad, adapt the Odyssey for me. No thanks.
In script form, I'm ready to challenge Nolan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what he did, I mean, once you kind of see how Homer's story is laid out and then how Nolan's story is laid out, a lot of overlap between Nolan's previous films and his career with how the story is not a linear story. It jumps around a little bit. And I think Nolan kind of used that as his way in. And then I think did something really, really, I mean, many clever things with the story. But I think, he made choices. I think sometimes when people adapt famous books, novels, I think people want to be really faithful. And I think in some cases that's good, but in other cases, like, you're adapting it, like, put your spin on it, give us your take on it. Make some strong choices. And I think Nolan did that in many different places in the movie, from the casting, which unfortunately got caught up in the culture wars. Fortunately, it seems like we're kind of moving past that now.
Yeah, like anything in this country, you have the big old dollar to shut people up pretty quick, and Nolan was able to do that this time with not a flop, which was the easiest prediction of all time. Even if it was bad, it was still going to make a crazy ton of money.
Oh yeah. And then I think his other choices for kind of some of the characterization, I think if you're a classic literature, whether you're a professor or a classicist, as they call them, I think maybe you have some notes about how he adapted and how he chose to portray Matt Damon's Odysseus. But I think he just threads the needle so brilliantly. He's done it time and again between being true to the story, while also making in an artful way, while also making it commercially viable for millions and millions of people. And I think that's so impressive. And I think, I think he just absolutely crushed it. I'm just like, there's so many moments in the movie. Last week's newsletter that you referenced, we did. You wrote about your experience in the movie. I ranked my top 10 sequences in the movie, and I was just listing them out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, there are so many great sequences in this movie. Like, you could just go bang, 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 and there is like an hour stretch in the middle of the movie, I feel like, where they just hit one after another, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, how are we going to top the last one? And then he does it. Like, I'm just so knocked out, and I love thinking about this movie. Loved watching it, of course, but I love thinking about it and hearing other people's opinions and the various takes that I've heard. Usually, sometimes that can be annoying, especially with a movie you love. You're like, you don't understand it, but I've really enjoyed hearing, people who are really knowledgeable about Homer, people who are really knowledgeable about filmmaking, people who just have different perspectives. I've found it all fascinating. But yeah, I want to hear about your kind of journey with it from when you saw it, because you saw it like opening night.
Yeah, saw opening night. Yeah, Thursday.
So that
night,
was like 3 weeks ago now, or over three weeks ago now.
Yeah, so I went with some guys that I've never seen movies with before. We have a friend DJ who we've met through Do You Like Apples, kind of ran to in public. I feel like when we go to Upshot Coffee, there's a 70% chance we run into DJ there, given our few interactions with them there. We were finally able to link up for a movie, and he brought a couple other guys with him. It's his podcast and Instagram page is called Third Eye Review, so check him out for sure. But yeah, it was just so fun seeing with new people, obviously with the same interests. 2 of us, or 3 of us, have made movies a hobby, or at least an attempted profession. So it was really cool to have their perspective in that moment with them. But I went in I remember trying to read friends' anticipation for this movie, and it just feels like Nolan's in that spot. If you're a huge fan or not, a lot of people are going to have the reaction, like, talking this down a little bit. Like, I don't know, this is the right move for Nolan. Can he adapt it if you're a big fan of the Odyssey? Especially after the first trailer, when it was not necessarily revealed, just the choice was shown to make every actor have an American accent, and with a very modern dialect at times. So once that trailer dropped, I was like, wait, what? And then I sat with it, saw all of the different versions of trailers as I was going to the movie theaters more. And by the time the movie came out, I was like, what else would I want Nolan to be doing at this stage in his career? After winning 6 Oscars, 7 Oscars, and Best Picture, Best Director, helping Barbenheimer happen. So I just went in at almost the most ease and least skeptical I've ever been about Nolan. So I think for me personally, with massive directors, and especially someone like Nolan, who is ever since Interstellar came out, it was kind of my first major disappointment with him. At the time, I've grown a lot more in Interstellar over the years, but I've just been like, I don't know if he's my guy. I'm going to see it in theaters because that's how it should be seen, if you have that interest. But I loved it. It was just the type of popcorn I love. Not so much of like a layered conversation that came out of the Odyssey. It wasn't like I was picking apart other different themes, wondering what I was trying to say, maybe after something like One Battle or Sinners. But I had
Yeah, it's not
equally
like Tenet. You're not sitting it with it like you were Tenet, like trying to like piece it together, like or pull it
exactly.
apart.
Yeah. I even on like the big picture, Sean was like, yeah, he's got the same all over the place storytelling method. I'm like, he does, but unlike Oppenheimer and unlike Dunkirk, unlike Tenet, the flashbacks were so obvious in this one, I wasn't losing my train of thought. Or I've just been coached by Nolan enough times to be used to the process. I'm not quite sure, but that this movie didn't feel confusing in terms of structure at all that Nolan's used in the past. But yeah, to go to the smaller choices that he made with like casting, I think with the modern dialect, which is for friends that only go to the movies a couple of times a year, outside of me telling them to go to the movies for our own events. Complaints about the American modern accent and dialect, the pacing at time, the length. I was like, those are two things when I left. I was like, I didn't feel the length at all, for one. And two, when people would say that about the accents, I was like, wait, no, this is the reason why. And then I would just slow myself down, and I don't need to explain to them. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. But the smaller choices, opening it up with the rapper. Holy shit.
Oh, Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. I
Yeah.
saying Tony Scott, and that's a great director. But Travis Scott, and then casting Elliot Page, I think, are two very intentional decisions that, for people with very small parts in the movie, Elliot Page definitely has a larger role. But similar to the Odyssey, those were given in the times that it was written. It's meant to be recited and performed, and versions that are given at that time are normally going to be lost to time. And Homer's Odyssey, for whatever reason, has been the version that is just kind of standardized and that we hear now. But back in the day, based on after seeing this movie, doing a lot more research, it was a poem. It was meant to be performed. So bringing in a rapper to start the movie, literally the first frame, I think was very intentional, and not. I don't think it's Nolan has said that such. Like, he called rap or something like the orators of our time, and I just thought that was really beautiful, and a genre of music for a Nolan fan base that I imagine that's not the number one genre for Nolan fanboys out there. But who knows? Maybe it's just a bunch of rap fans going to see the same movie. But then the same thing with Elliot Page. Really, I didn't pick up on this until I think I saw a tweet, but Matt Damon calling Elliot Page like the bravest soldier I've ever known. I think it's very intentional from Nolan to say that about an actor that is a huge part of his own career as a director in Inception. So just having such a arc of their own career, and then Nolan, I think, just giving what maybe could have been a throwaway line, but I think was really intentional. So those smaller moments help me cue into the nooks and cranny of Nolan a little bit more, because he's so epic that sometimes those decisions, I think, get lost for me. Or maybe this is the first movie that he's added those little those tidbits in there. But I think to end the review, the ending, I think I would say, well, let's just talk about maybe the parts that didn't work for you or did work for you, and kind of the cultural parts of the movie in the reviews that you've seen common criticisms. Like, for me, I feel like the ending, I've heard, has maybe been mixed for people. Is there any part of the movie that you're like, it's almost a 5, it's a 4.5 maybe, but these are the criticism I have? Was there any part of that movie, or are you kind of in that early stage of seeing a movie you love? Either's fine.
The flaws in the movie, it's not a perfect movie, but the flaws to me are pretty minimal. Like I just rewatched Oppenheimer for the first time since theaters a few weeks ago, and I still absolutely love it, but I can see the flaws. The second time they were peeking out a little more at me. Um, and in this one, I've seen it twice. I haven't seen it at home yet, but the flaws don't feel glaring to me at all. Like I would say the parts of the movie that don't work the best. Well, I guess just speaking quickly about the performances, I want to know what performances didn't work for you, but
Mhm.
I thought the Matt Damon, I thought Anne Hathaway, I thought they were both absolutely terrific
Mhm.
together and apart. They were some of the highlights for me. I would say Pattinson was even better on the rewatch. I
Yeah.
liked his performance a lot the first time. The second time, I was like, he's exactly what this movie needs. He's so good at playing these little freaks. I absolutely loved his performance the second time around. I'm like, he should. I went from like being like, yeah, he should probably be nominated for supporting actor to like, should he win supporting actor?
Mhm.
Um, the performance that I think has gotten the most kind of dialogue is Tom Holland's as Telemachus. He's the one that I think was a little outmatched. I don't think it not wasn't a terrible performance that took me out of the movie. I just felt like a little outmatched by his screen partners or by the American accent or the dialogue. Like he still has a couple nice moments, especially towards the end. But he is was the parts his scenes were the parts of the movies that did not work for me
Mhm.
the most. And I think he's actually well cast. I think he actually makes a lot of sense as this boy, soon to be king who has a lot of growing up to do. But I don't know if he's quite a strong performer yet to like match up with the people around him in this movie, because this is an absolutely all star stacked talented cast. But yeah, how did you feel about the kind of on the performance level?
Yeah, I'm not fully understanding the not necessarily backlash. It obviously helps that Spider-Man came out 2 weeks later to maybe wither away some of the criticism. But I thought he's just more than serviceable. I thought he's good. I think it helped that there was a moment. I think one of his first moments on screen where they're setting up kind of his dynamic and the now kind of overrun kingdom of Ithaca with all the potential suitors moving in to try to woo Anne Hathaway's Penelope at any moment whenever she gives the green light. And there's a little smirk laugh that he did that it felt like his one moment of like, I am Damon's son. It just felt like he
Mm,
looked like Damon for a hot second. I was like, oh, and it never really came back.
mm,
He was playing a little bit younger of like of an age than he actually was. Actually is
right.
in real life. Obviously, he's 30 now or almost 30. Um, but overall, I thought he gave a good performance. He was given less, and I think that's what I'm chalking it up to. But I think could see how he could have maybe impressed people more with just a little bit more to do. But he's the person in the story that stays back, is growing, is purposely being
He's more
restricted
passive. Yeah, his character's
because
more
he's
passive.
young and doesn't grow a beard and whatever Anne Hathaway, and two very mean scenes from a mother.
Yeah.
Just oh my
Yeah.
gosh, just insane. Really, but yeah. Besides that, I would say the one in the movie that like obviously Charlize Theron as cast as Calypso, and like in a temptress that has a person uh, Odysseus in a trance for however long. I just thought that like the flashbacks that are given with their scenes, it's kind of towards the end where Calypso's having a little bit more of like awareness of what they're doing and the trapping and the guilt, and that might be a change from the poem to this movie. But I just thought like you have this one beautiful, two incredibly visceral and talented actor to that has somebody in mind control. You're not gonna give me anything for her to cook. That was the one where those flashbacks, and normally flashbacks don't work for me very much, but like any Nolan movie, once the timelines sync up, I wasn't confused in the timelines, but when they sync up to be in real time finally, I was like, okay, I'm feeling Damon pull out. I'm feeling his emotion. I'm feeling his emotion pull through to this exact moment of the story. It eventually worked for me, but it was just like, oh, you have her opening the movie almost, and you're just gonna let her sit there and be sad about her entrancement for three
Yeah,
hours. It just felt like
I think
it
those
felt
were
like a
not
weird
the
choice.
strongest scenes in the
Yeah,
movie. Yeah, I think you go from these highs of these crazy action sequences and these incredible moments between two actors, whether it's Damon and Hathaway or Damon and Holland, our guy John Bernthal getting in
hmm
there, and then the scenes with Charlize Theron and Damon just feel, yeah, it feels like that maybe the Calypso subplot was not the part that Nolan cracked fully.
yeah,
I see why it's there, but yeah, I think I agree that those were not the
yeah. And I've done
strongest
no
parts.
research on what Homer's Odyssey says about Calypso, if what the legend and was she a goddess?
I
Is
think
that
it's
what she's
close. I think it's
considered?
similar. Yeah, she was she's a, I believe she's a daughter of a goddess.
Okay,
So basically, she offers Odysseus like immortality with her on the
right, yeah,
island, and he's like, no, I have to go back.
right,
I think actually the lotus flower comes from a different part of the story, not the
okay,
Calypso part. So
interesting.
I don't really understand like why. Obviously, I guess she's a beautiful goddess, so he's just like, I'm gonna spend years here, just like
Right, exactly. It's like perfect
having an
actress
affair
to
with this goddess. But
yeah, perfect actress to choose for just like if you don't
yeah,
know how to trim it down for 3 hours, even more. I can see
yeah,
how this is the part of the story that you cut down, and you cast Charlize Theron to just be like, oh, of course, that's gonna be tempting no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay on the island for 7 years, if even though I want to go back to my wife and son in beautiful paradise. But anyways, that was just the one part where everything else had so much emotion baked into the scale and
Hmm.
all of that, and it
Did
just
the little
that didn't work.
performances work for you? We talked about Elliot Page. He was great.
Yes,
Had the
the
incredible scene in Hades. Samantha Morton's great.
yes, that's the one.
Who
Actually, I have
else?
a bone to pick with you. Number 6 for Cersei's Hospitality.
Yeah,
That's pretty
it's
fucked
just
up.
it's a lot of body horror, which I
It's
did
not your
not
thing. Yes,
expect
it's
coming into my Nolan movie. But
yeah.
would that be your favorite scene in the movie?
Let me go through your list. I have it up right now. All right. Second choice, great. You don't give, maybe because of spoilers, you don't give which version of Stacking of Troy you enjoy the most, which we can talk about that.
I do when
Uh,
I in the paragraph.
okay,
The
you do. Yeah.
first the second one is the last one is the one at the end where it's not as triumphant. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. All right. But I would say, yeah, I don't know. The ending, I brought up the ending to kind of maybe tease you into, I know you loved it based on your rankings, but I was hoping that there's an aspect that maybe didn't work.
No,
But I would say
the ending I thought was terrific. I loved how he tied it all together. Kind of the choice he made, which is a modern choice to have Odysseus kind of
yes.
racked with guilt. Um, but I just think it perfectly ties in with themes he's been exploring, and it's such a great modern adaptation because of that choice. I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The
it
end.
did, yeah, did where the end didn't ring true for you?
Oh, no. I was teasing you up, hoping to just have a different opinion. No, I
Oh, okay.
loved the ending. Where, and this
It
is where we
wasn't
can
too
talk.
John Wicky for you, the action in the
Um,
ballroom.
Maybe a little bit, but I'm more talking about the beginning of that process when or I guess it's at the end of it. What happens first? His like remorse for the sacking of Troy, or
Yeah, that comes before the trial, right before the trial.
right before the trial? Okay, so like, well,
Yeah.
let's consider that start point the ending, and then the
Okay.
next 20, 30 minutes, whatever it was. Um, the John Wick style, I did like a lot. I was a little bit annoyed at the cutaways to Tom Holland and Logan Marshall Green's little tussle.
Yeah.
It
It
was
just
kind of
felt
like,
lower stakes,
yeah, lower stakes. It was
Yeah.
almost like Colonel Upham in Saving Private Ryan for me, where I was like, do your fucking job, Tom Holland. Jesus, man, like this is crazy. Like, get it together. Like
Telemachus, get it
this is
together.
your chance to be proven as a man, and he eventually gets there, and it was good drama. So my reaction to it, I guess, was working well, but I was just like, stay on the badassery of Odysseus right now. This is
Yeah.
and I, anyways, let's go back to kind of his remorse of the the sacking of Troy, and I just think it helped me click into Oppenheimer a little bit more. Not so much in that I didn't understand what Oppenheimer was trying to say at the end. I was just a little bit frustrated that like the obviousness of what Oppenheimer did being tragic throughout the whole story, which is just kind of, I was going into it expecting maybe a little bit more of that throughout. Whereas with this, I've never even heard of the Trojan horse myth being used as like a metaphor for the downfall of man and betraying one another. And I was just like, oh shoot, like this isn't just a adaptation of something that could look cool on screen and added stakes to it that I never even thought of before. So having less of a relationship to the Odyssey, having more of a relationship to obviously J. Robert Oppenheimer. I just think I was expecting a little bit more, and Nolan got there eventually where I think he was being pretty blunt with Oppenheimer, saying he's probably a villain, obviously allowing room for interpretation and dynamic and allowing us to see him as a complicated man. Whereas with this, it was almost the opposite. It was like, all right, hero all the way through. Great. I'm cool with that. And then all of a sudden it was a beautiful rendition of an already amazing sequence to start the movie, kind of played beat for beat at the next time, just with a slightly altered point of view, obviously.
Right.
And then from there, yeah, maybe the John Wick style got a little bit silly, but that's not what I was feeling in the moment. I just think that carried me all the way through. And then that very kind of a little bit cheesy of a last few lines from Anne Hathaway, but it all worked for me. It was like Nolan can't help but be somewhat hopeful and of a baby boomer of sorts, and give you that type of ending with like a seed of hope, especially in a book like the Odyssey. It's a classic story structure. You just kind of need to have that baked in of cocky hero going through a massive journey of contemplation and existential crisis, and then come back as a better person towards the end. It all makes sense, but I just really, really, really loved that retextualization of a theme of the story that I've never heard of before. So did that feel like pretty new to you? And in listening to that podcast, did they talk about that at all, of like how the ending of the Odyssey is versus this version?
Well, I think around the time of this story, the Bronze Age did collapse, from what I understand, and there were actually like rumored sea peoples who were like raiding these civilizations. So like I think that's all in history. There's a lot of debate around it, but I think it's Nolan's take to basically use the Trojan horse as like, that kind of metaphor or allegory. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I think that's the part of the movie that I think once it clicks in, you're like, oh wow, like okay, this is what he's been driving toward the whole time. And the shot with Zendaya as Athena getting beheaded at the end, I just thought that all worked so brilliantly. The editing in this movie, Jennifer Lame, his editor, doing Oscar winning work again.
Yeah, again, probably.
She's an absolute all-star. But yeah, I think that all worked perfectly, I thought. And not a perfect movie, but I think for me, it's probably approaching top 3 Nolan for me. And I'm a huge Nolan fan. So that, that I feel like it's right on the edge. I feel like that 3-4 for me, but where is it for you?
Blind ranking. I think I'm still consistent with The Dark Knight and Dunkirk being my top 2. I really love Dunkirk. Then you have movies like Inception and Oppenheimer.
You're not a big.
I'm not a big Prestige guy. I like the Prestige, but I'm not a big Prestige guy.
You're not a big Interstellar guy.
Yeah, not a big Interstellar guy. So that's probably more of like in the middle of like 6-7 for Interstellar. So yeah, I'll go comfortably 3 right now. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
3. And then it definitely has a chance on rewatches, especially if I get to see an IMAX. It's still chugging away at Ronnie's at least in IMAX.
Apparently it'll be an IMAX like through September or something. So
yeah, so I got time.
For me, I think Memento's always a huge movie for me. So I would say my 3 have always been Memento, Inception, Dark Knight. But I could see the Odyssey. I don't know which one it would take out, but I could see it. It's sneaking into the top 3 though.
Yeah, I love this movie. It's definitely my favorite of the year so far, and it's going to have some be interesting to see where it ends up, because just feels inevitable at this point. It feels like it could be wrong if like even if it's a great smaller movie that takes over the conversation. Not wrong, because I always love it when a smaller movie can take the cake at the end of the day. Even if I like the Odyssey more, I'll probably still be open to it as long as it's not like a Green Book or anything like that. But that'd be crazy in a strong year that this year seems to be.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the anticipated releases we have. That'd be pretty shocking. But anyways, you wrote a newsletter about Nolan's peak and other all-time directors when their peak was. Why do you think it's the Odyssey, and transition that into what do you think you should do next to stay at the peak, or maybe even have it come down a little bit? So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I was just like thinking about his career, and it was like he may win back to back Best Picture and Best Director. Like that's almost unheard of. I get into a little bit of the history in the piece I wrote, but yeah, just looking at his age, mid 50s, he's now made 13 films. I just feel like he's right in that sweet spot of like he's made enough movies, he does enough experience, but he's still incredibly sharp and extremely skilled. He's still physically fit enough to make the Odyssey. I mean, this was I mean, as Matt Damon has been talking about endlessly, this is a grueling shoot throughout global film production. So yeah, I was just thinking through, like, it just feels like how could he possibly go higher than this? What should he do next? I Before the Odyssey, it was this weird rumor that apparently was completely made up, that he was going to make like a helicopter action movie,
That's right.
which sounded sick. So I would love for him to make like his like high toned, like just
Top
pure
Gun Maverick or something. Like,
yeah,
maybe not,
yeah.
like it would never
I'm
feel the
thinking
same,
more
but like
like,
that type of like fast action type thing. Yeah, what are you
yes,
thinking? Yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking more like Speed, like his version of Speed, where it's like
Yeah.
high toned action,
Ticking
just
clock. Yeah.
yes, similar to like Dunkirk, but like more modern day, like crazy action scenes, and not as he'll still have the Nolan story trickery to it, of course, but
Yeah.
it being a little more stripped down, like not a 3 hour movie, more like a just under 2 hour movie that's just like pure action. I think that would be awesome. But what about you?
Yeah, it's in my channels of the internet. A horror movie feels like a lot of Nolan
Yeah,
fans' next step, and
especially with a lot of the sequences in the Odyssey.
exactly, and just like the Cyclops sequence is obviously a little bit scary, but the Cersei's hospitality sequence where it's all of his men understandably being hungry, and just the setup it all had where they're walking past the tigers and the lions, and then they get to all the sheep and all this stuff, and I was just like, wait a second, this is not something that I ever thought Nolan was going to pull out. But you look back in his career, like even in Batman Begins, there's that one shot of uh, when they finally are able to turn like the hallucinating serum on
Yeah,
Scarecrow himself, and it's like an all black Batman. As a kid, when that first came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like really scary." Yeah, pretty gnarly. So then you get things like in Oppenheimer with when he's giving his post atomic bomb speech and the flashes to people's kind of flesh burning and the atrocity of that all. Like that, there's moments for sure throughout his career, and just his ability to make good villains and all that stuff. So yeah, I think the takeaways from this are Pattinson and Hathaway are probably the leading candidates for an Oscar nom and potential win. I think Damon's going to for sure get nominated. I don't think he has a chance to win. It just feels like that type of role where he's in almost every frame of the movie. But I just think by the time Oscar season comes around, we're going to give him that fifth place spot, and somebody else will be shooting forward there, I think. But yeah, Pattinson and Hathaway kind of this is our last little topic of the Odyssey. Are they the two front runners, or maybe Leguizamo too? We haven't given him any credit. Like him, Leguizamo, or Pattinson, Leguizamo, and Anne Hathaway, kind of the most likely Oscar wins, actors wins.
I think so. Yeah, I would be very surprised if Hathaway isn't nominated for supporting, and I think Pattinson should be there. Yeah, anyone. John Leguizamo is really respected. I I don't know if he has quite that moment, that one scene that everyone that you
Yeah,
can always point to for a supporting actor
yeah.
or
It's hard
actress.
when you're a essentially blind actor
Yeah,
working
yeah.
through working through the scene. But
And you
um,
never know. Maybe Samantha Morton gets in there.
yeah, that's
She's
another
had a
one I
long
forgot.
career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who I saw in an interview from her today that somebody at like on set or not an, it wasn't even an interview. Somebody called her out. It was like a casting director or whatever. Like thought she was Emily Watson, and I thought that when I first watched the
Oh,
movie, and
yeah,
before the credits, I was like, oh, I think that's Emily Watson, and it was Samantha Morton, who
yeah.
I'd never noticed before, and she's
I
done a
can see
lot,
it.
but it's just one of those actors that hasn't been given her due yet in terms of like the leading role or anything. But I thought she was magnificent. I would love if she kind of had that ascent into the Oscar conversation. But yeah, I'm so glad we're finally able to talk about this. Amazing movie. You have plenty of time to see it. I imagine even next year before the Oscars, they'll do a re-release to keep the buzz going. But for all these actors, filmmakers, editors, just go into the distance for like 6 months and do The Sinners, then come back strong, build some momentum, get some love on Oscars Day, and we'll see if you can win the big prize again.
Hmm.
All right, next we have my thoughts on Brand New Day, and then our Spider-Man actors movie draft. So Brand New Day, I saw this during the
From a
day.
huge movie to a very small movie
Yeah,
called
very small movie.
Spider-Man:
Yes,
Brand New Day.
with a brand that I think is killing Hollywood, and also love it when any movie makes movie for the industry or makes money for the industry. So, and Spider-Man, I would say, has the most grace built in to superhero movies at the moment. I really like Tom Holland just in real life. I find his version of Spider-Man Peter Parker to be really great, and his movies are very consistent within the MCU, even if it at times is kind of a vehicle to set up a lot of other movies. But with all of that being said, I thought Brand New Day was really fun. Probably my second favorite of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and is able to take a step back, is able to set up the ever approaching Avengers Doomsday scenario a little bit, and where No Way Home left off, I thought the way they handled, which was spoilers for that movie, but Peter Parker is forgotten by the entire world because of a spell that Doctor Strange put on. So his best friends, played by Zendaya and I always forget the actor's name off the top of my head, Ned in the movie, but they forgot him. So that part of the story I thought was able to ground the movie a lot more. Jacob Batalon that plays Ned, and yeah, it just Spider Man is just the easiest superhero to ground, probably. At least when he's in high school. In this movie, he's kind of he's phased out of the high school era. His friends are going to college. He's not able to. He's being normal, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man throughout a lot of the movie, and then of course the existential crisis and big bads come for him. But really enjoyed it. I had a great time at the theater today. Not much more to say about it. I know you're going to see it in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Um,
Yeah, wait
what,
till there's a few more tickets available.
right.
When it's not
It was
doing
much.
Avengers
I mean, not
money.
you're not able to see movies during the day like I am sometimes, but um, yeah, during the day it was decently packed theater, but plenty of seats available. But yeah, it's kind of. Are you similar with me? Where at least in the MCU, Spider-Man is the the series of movies right now that is most consistent, or do you have another one that maybe takes the cake a little bit more? Even like
Yeah,
include Batman and Superman and whatever, but I think Spider-Man is
yeah,
the one I anticipate most these days.
it's the most consistently good movies. I mean, I think the first three are all good. Part of that is due to just how perfect Holland is for Spider-Man, the character. But also, I don't know if it's something where, like, these are Sony movies. It's a partnership with Marvel,
Yeah.
but they're kind of a little bit separate from the other Marvel movies. I don't know. I don't know if that has something to do with it. Yeah, the quality just always seems to be there with with
Mhm.
these now four movie mini franchise. And I just I don't know what where he goes next for the character. Uh, I was looking at kind of the past Spider-Man and how quickly they turn over
Yeah.
from one Spider-Man actor to the next. So I don't know what the MCU will do next, but I do think it is Tom Holland is probably, I would say he's the best Spider-Man at this point, pretty easily, right?
Yeah, and he's in the perfect spot for me just as a real life person and kind of the celebrity that he is, to where most actors that have been the same character for so long, I would say, hey, I'm ready for you to try other things. I don't feel that with Tom Holland at all. Like I want him to, in between Spider-Man, try to continue to make great movies like the Odyssey, and I'm hoping the Odyssey has him be able to choose smarter projects. Maybe he's obviously so young when he became Peter Parker. I understand he had some growing pains uh, with his choices and just movies not working out fully and all that. But I just don't really care if he goes anywhere else besides Peter Parker. I think he's always going to be able to be a figure. I think he's always going to give 110% on the performance. I think he could, as he gets older, begin to play that more grizzled veteran Spider-Man. I think he can be like a mentor, like all the other MCU characters were, like Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, a little bit of Hulk in this one.
It's almost impossible to think of Holland as old and grizzled.
Yeah, I'm not
He's
even say
boyish forever.
right, exactly. But I feel like that can play well with Peter Parker, where it's like a boy that can't grow up but has to mature at every point of his life, and I just think that's all going to work. I'm not thinking he's going to be like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi or anything like that, where he's just
like Logan,
marooned on an island. And hey, if they make that choice, everybody else might hate it, and we'll love it like we did with The Last Jedi. But yeah, I just really am cool with him as Peter Parker, and if he wants to just continue to make him get that paycheck, get better, use Zendaya as an inspiration to pick better movies, his wonderful bride.
Please,
I just think it's gonna be fine if he stays there forever. And on the Big Picture today, I went back to their Spider-Man episode, and they gave the line of 2.5 more or less Spider-Man movies, not like appearances in any MCU movie, but actual Spider-Man movies. They set the line at 2.5, and I think we'll get more.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. So
wow.
Yeah, take that as you will. Please let us know your thoughts on the Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day. But yes, into our quick little draft here at the end. We are doing the Spider-Man actors movie draft and their love interest. So Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst from the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi trilogy, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. I guess the Mark Webb couple movies, and then Tom Holland and Zendaya as the most recent couple. All have dated, all have been amazing actors in their own right. But man, my first thing out of the gate is maybe outside of Andrew Garfield's, the women just kicking all the Spider-Man asses in their careers outside of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Maguire and Holland have not exactly had other great films.
Yeah, Maguire kind of on purpose. I feel like a little bit. He just feels like a super weird guy in real life, and really likes to play poker, pick certain projects that don't really make sense, but even he can be bought back into a Spider-Man movie from No Way Home. So, but yeah, so we're picking only non-Spider-Man movies. That's important. Drew, we did a coin toss to start. What's your first pick?
All right, this might be a weird start, but I feel like as we just discussed, Tobey Maguire is probably the thinnest in his non-Spider-Man career. I mean, I think the best movies, I haven't seen them all, but I think the best movies he's starred in were probably Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. But I'm going to go with a movie that he has a small role in.
I knew you were going here.
It's a great film.
I knew you were going here.
I have to go Babylon High forever.
Yes.
He's not a huge part of this movie. He plays a weirdo who is in like a very memorable kind of hellish scene. But there's not a lot of great Tobey Maguire choices here, so I'm gonna pick up Babylon right at the start.
Yeah, I think you needed to go there. Maybe not with the first pick, because I'm gonna pull a fast one on you here in a second. But
okay,
yeah, he's, for whatever reason, it's just his. Even as a kid, it wasn't. I love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong. I think he's still my favorite Spider-Man. Tom Holland, I think, gives the best performances at this point, but I think his presence with Raimi combined, I think, just works so well together. and he gives a different slant to what I think now is our perceived look at Spider-Man, and it's found to be very good in those movies, and I really love them, especially the first couple, obviously. But I'm glad you went there. That was a very inspired choice. Like a little bit before when I was pulling up the list and thinking about it throughout the day, that was one I'm like, ooh, if he doesn't think that one right away, I think I can snag that in the second round. But I'm surprised in a similar way. Tom Holland, not much outside of Spider-Man. And quick, I'm not going to take this, but do you want to open up like Avengers for Tom Holland, or just all MCU, all superheroes?
I was thinking
I'm cool
about
either
that.
way. Yeah.
I think it's we can include it.
Okay.
I think we can, yeah, because it's not a Spider-Man movie,
Right.
even though he's playing the same character, but I think we can allow it.
Yes. Okay. I'm cool with that. But I'm still going to go with the Odyssey for Tom Holland. We kind of ripped on him. You ripped on him. I said he's a little bit underrated, but I think I got to go Odyssey. The other actors in this, even with Tobey Maguire, I got a few that I can work with. But yeah, get the Odyssey out there, get on my board, and we'll go from there.
I mean, I think it's hands down the best movie he's been in. I don't feel bad criticizing his performance because he's literally on top of the world right now.
Right, exactly.
He's in the two biggest movies of the summer. He's married to Zendaya. They're both in both movies. Like,
I'm comfortable saying like 85% of our listeners and readers are friends and family, but maybe the 15% that aren't. Tom Holland it might be one of them. So I think on our movie watching game, there's one person's name I didn't recognize in their letterbox. Let me look that up real quick. It was I think it was the UK, so maybe it's no, it wasn't Tom H. It was Tony B. But I think maybe that could be like a ghostwriter situation, you know? Just gotta
could be. Yeah.
So let me look that up real quick, and then I will.
Tom Holland has a great life.
Let you do your pick.
Even if he's not the strongest part of Odyssey, he's great life.
He's totally cool. Let's see here.
This will give me time to think about my next pick.
Southwest UK. So I don't know where he's from. His picture looks nothing like Tom Holland. Sorry to Tony B, but your movie taste looks great according to Letterboxd, because on our game you're able to link your Letterboxd and this person has it. So, and it was a new follower too. So I don't know about if he follows anything else, but we did not follow him on Letterboxd currently. So that was kind of a fun little surprise.
What up, Tony B?
What up, Tony B? All right, go give us your next pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with an MJ. Let's do Kirsten Dunst. I'm gonna go with Marie Antoinette. I think her best performance. I think my favorite of the movies. She's been in some great movies. Worked with some incredible directors. But I think it's my favorite of hers. So grabbing Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, I was able to. My girlfriend, she has very little movie knowledge, and I was talking about Kirsten Dunst for something I don't remember why. I had Spider-Man 2 on, and I was just talking about that. But I called her Kiki, which I never really thought of calling her that until Amanda Dobbins did on the Big Picture. But she's like, Kiki? I'm like, she's Kiki, babe. You got to deal with this.
You know what? I went, just a quick aside, I went and saw, I took my son Wes to see the Miyazaki movie, Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters that was playing at the High Point. And Kirsten Dunst is the voice of the main character, the little girl. She's the English dub of that movie, whose name is Kiki. And I was like, oh, surely this is where her nickname Kiki came from. No, apparently she was Kiki before she even did that voice acting. So she for whatever reason, she's always been Kiki, and then it just so happened she voice acted Kiki's Delivery Service.
I will save more praise on Kirsten Dunst once I pick her, but I do love her as an actress and just figure and all of that. But I think I'm gonna go back to the boys real quick. Get my boys out of the way because I think they are the thinnest. You already have your Tobey Maguire, so I gotta go to the Social Network. It's or Andrew Garfield's breakout. For me, I find Andrew Garfield to be brilliant at most things, but even still, there's nothing that really tops a surprise performance and one that's quite as visceral and integral to the story of the Social Network. Just Mark, just
Iconic.
slamming down the laptop, intimidating Justin Timberlake,
Yeah.
just so good. I can't speak enough about his performance in that movie. Obviously, The Social Network was our favorite movie of the century and in our collective list. It just, yeah, it was just really special, obviously, all the way through. And at the time, felt like one of my first actors. Like that's my guy. I call him.
Yeah.
He's on my
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like I'm in the bag forever. This was pre Spider-Man was The Social
Yeah.
Network, so obviously he got pretty established pretty quick after The Social Network. But
He
very
jumps
very
off the
great
screen
actor.
in Social Network. He does this little dance at the Hawaiian dance
Oh yeah,
party.
this one,
Mark.
like you just like doing his
when he sees
yeah.
Mark, he does that. It gets me every time.
Exactly. It's so good.
We haven't discussed this, but should we do a Social Network like either watch along or full pod?
Yeah, I feel like we got to. We never really done. We've done watch.
We can just ignore
before,
Social Reckoning and only talk about.
Might be the time. I don't know. Hey, I'm definitely not optimistic about the Social Reckoning. It looks terrible, but I'm going to be going in with the lowest of low anticipation, and I think therefore it's going to be.
It could actually.
Hopefully a 6 out of 10. We'll see. Supposed reshoots.
It feels like the ceiling. Unfortunately,
you don't have Fincher's bite to put into the script or the filmmaking. So I guess he didn't do the script, but into the filmmaking. So yeah, Social Network for my Andrew Garfield.
So you got your Garfield. I'm gonna go over to Emma Stone. A lot of choices for Emma Stone.
Yeah, that's why I was waiting on her. She
probably has the most great movies and great performances here on the list. Probably the best actress on the list. I guess I'll do La La Land. I think she's just absolutely sensational. The Favorite's more of a three-hander. Begonia's kind of a two-hander. Superbad, she's a supporting character. La La Land, I guess, is a two-hander as well, but wins the Oscar. I think it's just an iconic movie, and I think she's so perfect for Damien Chazelle's musical vision. So, kind of a down the middle pick, but it's La La Land.
Yeah, it's down the middle, and there's an anniversary opportunity to watch it on August 16th, and so it's on our movie game, our DYL game. So
yeah.
I still haven't figured out how to say the game. I like the title when you look at it, but I still don't know how to pronounce it to emphasize all the acronym.
It makes more sense written than it does
for sure. So we might have to adjust the game at some point. But anyways, on August 16th, the 10th anniversary screening is happening. So I've talked about this experience watching La La Land many times, but me, my friend Ryan, my friend Mitch, intro music creator Ryan, is when I was getting free tickets to a lot of things because of different websites and Movie Pass. Saw with just 3 boys in a packed theater in when this come out 2016. So 10 years ago, it was just a glorious time. Got some drinks afterwards. Just really a real solid bonding in a weird way, dudes rock night. So
yeah.
All right, my next pick is. All right, so you got 3 in there. Oh, I put La La Land on my side. Whoops. Would love to steal it. All right, so I'm going to. I can wait on Kirsten Dunst. I'm gonna get my Zendaya out of the way and get me some challengers. So.
I knew it.
Yeah. Honestly, this might be the best board I've ever put together so far on a draft. So I'm pretty pumped right now. But yeah, Challengers was my favorite movie of was that 23, and introduced me to Josh O'Connor in a full way. I didn't watch The Crown. My boy Mike Feist, one of my other guys, who are after seeing West Side Story, like everybody else that year, I was like, that guy, give me that guy, and I thought he was equally as great as the other 2 people I just mentioned. And yeah, Zendaya, just massive movie star, hasn't hit she's like critically in terms of critical reception. Like everybody thinks she's an amazing performer, but not the Oscars yet. I don't know if anything this year, maybe the drama, but I doubt it. She might have a little bit of a chance this year, but she's one of our only true stars. Her and Timmy, top 2 probably of younger generation.
Yeah,
yeah. That's off the top of my head. And
is
Tom Holland,
Challengers her best performance?
Let me pull up.
I think it might be.
Letterbox real quick. I need to think of some of her other.
Because she's great in
I
Dune, but she's not, one of
yeah,
the
she's very good in
leads.
Dune, but I haven't really seen much of Euphoria, so
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
can't
haven't
even
either. Yeah.
I can't even bring in TV. Even though Malcolm Marie I think is flawed, I thought seeing her paired with John David Washington was really interesting. So yeah,
She's
challengers.
pretty good in that. It's a
Yeah.
terribly written movie, but she's actually the best part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit more. I wouldn't say a soft spot, but I have a little bit more warmth for this movie. I mean, obviously Euphoria connection with Sam Levinson directing, and
Hmm.
he's always up his own ass, so you can feel that in the movie for sure. But as
Oh
a
yeah.
COVID
Yeah.
era, type of thing, I gave it a little bit more grace, I think. But yeah, Challengers is definitely the one of her movies where I'm just like, oh, this is great. Maybe mainly because of her. Yeah, I think I went away with more thoughts on Josh O'Connor, but that's only because Zendaya was established for me already. And then for our friend Robert, The Greatest Showman, he loves that movie so much. And I remember when we watched that together at your house, however many years ago.
Yeah.
He was the one I was singing along the most, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Rob, I love it! Keep it going." But yeah,
That was
Greatest
a great
Showman.
time.
If anybody has some Greatest Showman love, you can let us know about that. But yes, Challengers in my Zendaya spot.
Okay, so I have my Tobey Maguire movie, Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone movie. I think all the categories, or at least one from every actor has been taken. So,
Mm-hmm.
favorite movie still on the list. I'm gonna go Andrew Garfield, and I will take him in Silence, Martin Scorsese's epic
Favorite performance or
portrait of.
favorite Andrew Garfield
Um,
movie in general?
you know, that's a good question. So I would also, you'd put up Under the Silver Lake, Hacksaw Ridge. I mean, yeah, I like Under the Silver Lake. I like him in that, but I feel like in Silence he's so committed,
Mm-hmm.
and so just mind, body, soul, into
Mm-hmm.
what Scorsese's
Exactly.
doing, and Silence is one of my favorite movies of the century. So I think it is. I think
If I didn't
that
if I didn't
Social
take Social
Network
Network,
are.
would you have taken Social Network over
I probably would have taken Social Network.
Silence?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, because
yeah,
in Silence he's the main guy, so it's
yeah,
all on his
yeah.
shoulders in a lot of ways, and I totally agree with his performance. Though it does suck that um, Silence kind of came and went in terms of our Scorsese legacy.
Right.
But me and you are singing the praises, and anybody that's grown up, at least in a semi structured religious or Christianity background, Catholic background, uh, maybe doesn't have as much warmth for it, but it felt like one of Scorsese's true passion projects that I don't think missed.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed it. It's such a heavy
it's
movie, but
it's a tough watch.
yeah, it was memorable for sure. So yeah, that definitely needed to be said, and I thought he pulled it off. All right, so I'm gonna have Tobey Maguire here just to have some more fun with actors I care about more at the end. But let's see here, Toby. He's got such an interesting performing style. Like it almost feels. Is there any room for when he does go all out, like in a Babylon or even a movie like Brothers? Do you think he's got a little bit of Nick Cage in him? He's kind of got that explosive, not always like not a performance you always buy, but you're like, man, I love your choices. But when he does hit
He
the
can
right
go
note,
for broke sometimes.
Yes. So, all right, let's.
I don't even know where I would go if I were you here. I haven't seen a lot of his like earlier movies.
Right.
Like I've never seen Pleasantville. I think I've maybe
Yeah,
seen a couple
I think I
scenes
saw
of
it
but
when it came out, but I'm gonna go with two movies I like. I'm gonna choose between the Brothers or Seabiscuit. I'm gonna go with Brothers though. I remember seeing that right when it came out. I was always a big Gyllenhaal fan, Portman from a lot of things, but Star Wars at the time, and then Tobey Maguire as a Spider-Man. It was just like one of those movies where you sit down, and you're like, oh, all my actors that have massive touch points in my life that I can have a relationship with are all in the same movie. That's a little bit more adult. You give it a shot. So yeah, he's a person lost at war. Jake Gyllenhaal, his brother, kind of swoops in with the family. PTSD and otherwise, Tobey Maguire makes it back. Domestic drama ensues. It's definitely way too dramatic, but I think when he has a chance to blow up, it works. He's the emotional center point of the movie. He's driving the emotion all the way through, and I think it's one of the few performances from his career that you're like, oh, you don't give this really much at all, but when you are unhinged, you really go for it, and I think it worked. And was given more to do than the other two leads that I gave that I shouted out, but I'm confident with Brothers. What a weird movie to put in with 3 massive movies for me, but
Yeah.
but I got some time to throw movies I can talk about for hours and love. So
yeah, that's one I've never seen, but the cast is one that I've should have seen by now. I feel like it's one of those that I'm never quick to go check out, but I feel like I would probably at least find something to like about it.
Yeah, and it's Jim Sheridan. If anybody's seen any of his movies, he's done 3 movies with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh yeah.
And then which I've only seen.
Foot? Is that what he did?
My Left Foot. I've seen. Did I see the Name of the Father? Anyways, and then he did Get Rich or Die Trying with 50 Cent, and I don't know if I've ever seen that, but yes, which is hilarious. So
wow.
Yeah, good for that guy.
Jim Sheridan and Fitty.
We
need to get them back together.
They really do. And then he even did a movie called In America, which, if I remember right, my mom just randomly had on VHS growing up. I don't think we ever watched it together, but
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Brothers is
my last thing on Maguire. I was reminded of this when I wrote about 25th Hour. We had an Edward Norton newsletter a couple weeks back. Maguire was supposed to be the Edward Norton role in 25th Hour. Oh. He had like the rights to the book. And ended up, because of Spider-Man reasons, not being able to do it. And I feel like, I don't know if that movie works with Tobey Maguire. I think it's still a good movie, but I just think Norton is just so sensational in that one.
Yeah, and Tobey's never really been, like, obviously Edward Norton's very memorable in that movie, but he just like fits into the vibe of that movie so seamlessly. Yeah. And I don't think Tobey really can fit into any vibe of any movie. And that's not necessarily a detriment to his performance style, but it's like always takes a second. It's not even because he's Spider-Man. It's just like his voice. I think he's a really good performer. It just always takes me a second with him to get in the groove. Yeah, but then once he gets in the groove of his performance, I normally dig it, especially in Babylon. In Babylon, though, he's in so much like strung out makeup that was the only one where I was like, holy shit. And then just bought it immediately. So yeah, that's so interesting. What a sliding doors. Holy cow.
It is, yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go over to Zendaya. We were just talking. I do think Challengers, I think you made the right pick. I think it's her best performance. But I'm going to go with Dune Part 2. I think I would say that's the best movie she's been in. And I think she's got a bigger part. She's definitely got a bigger part in Part 2 than she does in Part 1. We'll see what comes of Part 3 for her. She seems like she's going to be a pretty big character in Part 3. Yeah. I have not read the book that one's based on, but I'll go Dune Part 2 for Zendaya playing Shani.
I mean, an amazing pick. That movie's incredible. So excited for Part 3 later this year, or Dune Messiah later this year. And I hope she has a bigger role, because in the first one she was definitely in the background because she doesn't really get introduced until the end of the movie. But I think the little foil to, not actual foil, because she's partnered with Paul Atreides, but I think her like moral compass and having to break apart from Paul Atreides is going to be really, really interesting, and a lot of the emotion from the movie. And I know she'll give a great performance, and I hope it sticks the landing. All right, Kirsten Dunst or Emma Stone, where am I going? Let's go with Kirsten Dunst. I got a lot of options for her. You took her claim to fame with Sophia. I like some of her Sophia stuff a little bit more. I like Virgin Suicides more than Marie Antoinette. She's amazing in The Beguiled.
Really?
But I think I gotta go with
Beguiled. Yeah,
really good in The Beguiled. But I gotta go with one from my childhood that really just was very involved in my childhood for whatever reason, that has stuck with me, and or a more modern pick that is much more depressing. Have I vamped enough? Let's. I'm gonna pick her upcoming release of Minecraft Squared. No, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Bring It On. Let's have some fun. I'm gonna pick Bring It On.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It. When was she in that? She was in that before Spider-Man, which is crazy. They feel like they came out in the same year.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Right.
in
before,
that 2 years before Spider-Man, she's a child actress. She's in so much. She's in Jumanji. Another big one for me growing up, Little Women. I think her Bring It On is probably the movie that proves she was at least a budding superstar. A by the book rom-com, you would think, but it is a very gnarly, brave movie, I think, for what is chalked up to be just a iconic but down the middle PG-13 girl movie for a short-sighted phrase of it. But yeah, deals with race, deals with those social dynamics in high school, and it's a really horny movie, and I just really enjoy it all the way through. And I think she gives an incredible performance that was in line with where her career was going, and an attempt at a separation from her kids' stuff. And I think it hits all the right notes. And director Peyton Reed, before he was famous for Ant-Man, gave us some pretty good comedies with Bring It On and Yes Man before that. So Bring It On is a really great movie that I think has only aged better over the years, and really love this movie. So that's my
Bring It On is
for...
one of those movies that I don't know if you've had this experience, or maybe you did with a different movie, but it was one of those movies I saw in high school with a bunch of friends, and it was kind of like, oh, this is a girl movie, you know. But even like my too cool for school, me and my jock friends in high school were like, damn, that's a good movie. Like,
right,
you know, even though it felt like, oh, that's a girl movie, it was like, oh, actually, Bring It On is a sick movie.
Yeah, it's one of, like, especially when you're that young and you start dating a little bit, and you're like trying to figure out what movies to watch with the girl you're trying to impress, and if it becomes anything established, you're like, oh gosh, let's not do Nicholas Sparks or anything like that, and they suggest Bring It On, you're like, oh, I guess.
yeah.
It's not. We don't have.
Sure, we can watch.
Yeah. We can't do Jurassic Park again. Okay, fine, we'll do.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, really love this movie, and it's supplanted Kiki as one of my people forever. So that's my pick for her category.
Okay, I'm bringing her back around. My last actor is Tom Holland. Bringing it back around to the main character of this podcast, and the movie world right now. Honestly, Tom Holland. I could do Endgame, but I'm gonna swerve. I'm gonna go with The Lost City of Z.
Oh,
a smallish
that blew
part.
right past me. I saw the Odyssey and went blind, but he's actually very good at Lost City of Z.
Yeah, he's very good, and he's not a huge part, but he's a significant supporting role. I think he is kind of ideal for that kind of role, especially when he's in his younger. And that's a 10-year-old movie at this point. But yeah, he plays, I think, the son of Charlie Hunnam's character, right? Who's like waiting for his dad to come back. And actually Pattinson's in this movie too, Robert Pattinson. This is a great movie. I hope people it's not a widely seen movie, I feel like. So with James Gray, director James Gray has a new movie out this year. I hope people are going to be going back to this movie because it's really terrific. And Tom Holland is not the number one reason why, but I think it is one of his better performances outside of Spider-Man.
Yeah, totally agree. I was even so because when it came out first, that was he was in Lost City of Z before Homecoming, or was it the same year? That was the year before.
I think it was right before.
Oh, he was in Civil War before Lost City of Z. That's what I'm like. I thought he was in the MCU, but anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, I thought his performance in that, I would love to re-examine that one to see how close it is to something, even like the Odyssey. It might be his best performance, if I'm right, but we'll not counting Spider-Man. But it's funny, when during the press junket for the Odyssey, I remember at one point. He's like, "I've been in 3 movies with Rob." And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"What? No, he hasn't." And it was the Devil All the Time and Lost City of Z. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
he has. That's crazy.
I forgot he's in The Devil. I forgot Holland's in The Devil All the Time. Pattinson's a voice in The Devil All the Time.
It's
I
very
feel like still gives me
entertaining.
nightmares.
Yes, exactly. It's for all of these movies, I feel like there was some type of voice coach involved, and Devil All the Time, I think it's the case with maybe Robert Pattinson. Every once in a while, where he just comes to set and decided to do a voice without consulting anybody, and luckily he's a brilliant actor, and it seems to work out. But actually, I think I remember watching The Devil All the Time at your house during the pandemic. Yeah.
Oh, that was pandemic times.
Yeah, it was like, all right, we just need streaming movies, and
doesn't matter what it is. It's something new. Let's watch it.
Exactly. Oh, you've been cooped up, and we're all safe. All right, come on over. We'll watch The Devil All the Time. That was peak, like, take COVID out of it, but I was just like, any streaming era movie, I'm going to give it a shot because I wasn't as jaded about streaming at that point in my life. I was like, oh, cool. Actor on the poster I like, I'll give it a shot. Much more picky now with streaming stuff, unfortunately, sometimes. But all right. My last pick is for Emma Stone. I got plenty of time to pick this one. She got so many good ones. That's like, even when I brought up the conversation to start, I'm like, man, the women are just kicking the men's asses in terms of legacy and notable performances. Emma Stone being one of the main reasons for that. Has won 2 Oscars now.
Yeah.
Right? La La Land and Poor Things.
And Poor Things, yeah.
Nominated 7,000 times. On the ascent to match Meryl Streep maybe at some point, not in nominations, but maybe in some wins. All right. We got movies like Superbad and Easy A and Crazy Stupid Love. You got La La Land, which you picked. You got her Yorgos era, Poor Things, Begonia, Kinds of Kindness. The Favorite. Oh man, this is so tough.
Yeah, it is. It's you have all the Lanthimos, and you have like her earlier stuff like Easy A, Superbad.
I'm going to go Superbad. I gotta honor the announcement. I've gotten 2 announcements on here of Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Emma Stone's being the first movie of her career, I believe, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And then
that is crazy.
I think I even remember out of that movie, because all my friends saw it, of course. All of us were like, "Who's that? We like her.
Yeah,
this is great." Maybe not given all that much to do, but stood out for a reason. Was funny, toe to toe with all of Jonah Hill mainly, and all the other actors. And even if you compare it to the other high school actors that are cast in that movie, like the person that plays her best friend in that, like there's some line readings from her where I'm like, who is this person and why were they even cast as best friend? Like, it's just not great.
Tough.
And then you have Emma Stone next to her, and you're like, wait a second, you're the best part about this movie, maybe.
Right, making everyone else look bad.
Some of the funniest people to ever live. So I gotta go Superbad with my last pick. I was going with that, or I was almost gonna have my Begonia love take note, but I think that performance isn't even lasting as much as I thought from when the movie came out. But I'm gonna hold place for her baseball. I don't even know what genre it's supposed to be, but her baseball movie that she's starring in with Chris Pine. A baseball fan accidentally alters.
Okay, I was going to ask you about this.
Of a game-winning catch. So
yeah,
it seems like
she's
it's playing
be in
off
like a
of
rom-com next.
Yes, it seems like it's playing off of like the Steve Bartman thing. A baseball fan accidentally alters the trajectory of a game-winning catch.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be like a biopic. I hope not. That guy needs to not be beat up anymore. But so yeah, romance comedy. Dave McCary's the director. I don't know anything. Oh, it's the guy that did Briggs.
That's her husband.
Oh, that's her husband. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so funny. Okay. Anyways, that kind of makes me even more excited about it. And just her to be a love interest to Chris Pine. I don't think I can cast like 2 leads in a rom-com.
That's a lot of power.
Than that. Like, I still love Glenn, but I need him to get away from his Hulu show first before I can kind of get back on track with his career. But yeah,
This is
with
the right
fine.
move for her. Like she's done like what like almost like 4 Euros Lanthimos movies in a row. Like this is
Right,
the right move for her to like kind of swerve away, and she'll come back to work with him again. But
right,
I like
and
this
just
move.
like be less weird. Which
Rom
is
com
I
with
love how weird she
Chris
is. But
Pine.
starting with a movie like the TV show Maniac, ever since there, she's gone that. All right, we'll start with the favorite. The favorite, her Yorgos debut,
Mhm.
Maniac, the TV show, which I think is highly underrated.
It's a good show. Yeah.
She took some money with Cruella. Weirdly enough, if I remember right, it was that or In the Heights was my first movie back, or was it Quiet Place? That second one. Either way,
I
those were like
think,
three opening up the
yeah, I think
worlds.
Cruella may have been our first like
Yeah, we saw that
real
together.
movie back. Yeah.
That's how you know how desperate we were. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
we're excited for Cruella. Cruella's gonna be exciting. And
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
it wasn't bad. Poor Things, The Curse, which I still haven't watched. I need to watch that. Finally.
I need to watch The Curse.
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't is because I don't have Showtime.
Yeah, because who has Showtime?
Right.
Kinds of Kindness, into Eddington, into Begonia. Just what a weird
Yeah.
slant to her career, but love her all the more for it. So, anyways,
Like that run with like Cruella in the middle is like a really like Disney's Cruella. Like was a very
yeah, very
odd
interesting.
run.
Hey, she just wanted to make
great work. She's doing great work, but it's like
yeah, she knew she wanted to work with Yorgos some more, so she gave that one a go to get some money on her side.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I can appreciate. All right, Drew, that was an amazing draft. Really fun way to kind of round out our conversation.
I love all these movies I got. That was fun.
Me too. I mean, trying to think about. Yeah, you got all bangers too. But yeah, go down your list of what you picked, and then we'll sign off.
For Tobey Maguire, I picked Babylon. Very small role, but still. Andrew Garfield, I picked Silence. Tom Holland, I picked The Lost City of Z. Kirsten Dunst, I picked Marie Antoinette. Emma Stone, I picked La La Land. And Zendaya, I picked Dune Part 2.
Mm-hmm. All right, for Tobey Maguire, did Brothers. Andrew Garfield, The Social Network. Tom Holland, The Odyssey. Kirsten Dunst, Bring It On. Emma Stone, Superbad. Zendaya, Challengers. All right, thank you everybody for listening to Do You Like Apple's podcast, your neighborhood podcast. Look in the show notes for our new game, DYL Game. The A in game is capitalized like DYLA. Be back with us next week. We got some more fun Do You Like Apple's podcasting and newsletters coming for you. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Talk later, Drew.
All right.
Do you like apples?